Reveals greatness in Mark chapter number 10, beginning in verse 35. You know, we talk about serving, and we know that Jesus was a servant. Peter wouldn't even initially allow Jesus to wash his feet because Jesus was doing the task of the most menial servant that you could be in that culture, to wash someone's dirty, sandaled feet. Peter said to Jesus, "No, Lord, you're not going to wash my feet." In other words, you're not going to humble yourself like that and do that. And Jesus said, if you don't let me wash your feet, listen to this, if you don't let me wash your feet, then you have no part with me. And Peter said, not just my feet, but my head, my hands, give me a bath then, you know. Let me take a shower. So there's something about serving that we think it's beneath us, or we think it's not something that we should do because we're maybe greater than that. But the degree to which you serve is the degree to which your greatness in the kingdom is revealed. Think about it. The degree to which you serve and serve other people is the degree to which your greatness is revealed in the kingdom. We've been looking at previews of coming attractions. If you guys are serving now, you're going to be serving later. We read the verse. Jesus said, "You will serve with me in my kingdom." The disciples, obviously the apostles, are going to be reigning on thrones. They're going to have a big responsibility because they were very responsible on earth. And so, I don't know about you, but I want to be known as a servant. Even though Jesus said, He said, "I don't call you servants anymore, I call you friends, because everything that the Father has told me, I've revealed to you." So as a friend of Jesus, you become a servant of Him willingly. And it's all over the Bible. I looked up all the words for servant in the Bible, and we could just read one after the other. You guys can do that too with your concordance or your smartphone. So let me ask you a question. How are you in that area? How are you in that area in this church? You know, serving means serving wherever you might be. You might be serving in the children's ministry and serving kids. You might be serving in some other area, but are you serving? And we're going to be talking about that at the end of the message. I'm going to give you some practical things that you can do right now that will reveal your greatness. All right, so look in Mark's Gospel, chapter number 10. This is also recorded in Matthew, chapter 20, verse 20, if you want to look there. But I'm going to be reading from Mark, because that's the passage that I chose. But think about it. Think about Matthew 20:20 for a minute. Do you have 20/20 vision? How many of y'all have glasses? I'm getting ready to put mine on. Yeah, how many of you have contacts? All right, well, if you are a servant this morning, you have 20/20 vision. You're seeing clearly. If not, maybe you need to come to this doctor here and I'll help you with an eye exam. All right? Look in your Bible, Mark chapter number 10, beginning in verse 35. Then James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to him, that is, they came to Jesus, saying, "Teacher," look at this request, "we want you to do for us whatever we ask." And he said to them, "What do you want me to do for you?" They said to him, "Grant us that we may sit, one on your right and the other on your left, in your glory." But Jesus said to them, "You do not know what you ask. Are you able to drink the cup that I drink and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?" They said to him, and I can hear them going, "We're able." Jesus said to them, "You will indeed drink the cup that I drink. And with the baptism I am baptized with, you will be baptized. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give." Notice this verse, underline it. "But it is for those for whom it is prepared." There's not only a prepared place for you in heaven, but there's a prepared place of honor in heaven for you. You may not have seen that before. Serving reveals greatness. The people that are going to sit on Jesus' right and left hand, that place has been prepared. And I would guess that they are servants like Jesus is. James and John, that's already taken. Look at verse 41. Now the rest of the disciples are angry, and if you read it in Matthew, it tells the same thing. And when the 10 heard it, they began to be greatly displeased with James and John. But Jesus called them to himself and said to them, "You know that those who are considered rulers over the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. Yet it shall not be so among you, but whoever desires to become great among you shall be your servant." That's what they wanted. They wanted the positions of greatness in the kingdom. "And whoever desires to be first shall be slave of all." I looked at that word and I looked at all the translations. I said, Lord, slave is not a word in our culture that we like because of our history and our past and our problem with that. But that's the word. That's the word in the Bible. And it didn't matter what verse I looked in, what translation I looked in, it was slave. And in the first century, they had slaves. And they had the worst jobs, but sometimes they had really good masters. Paul said in his writings, he said, "I'm a bond slave of Jesus. I'm a willing servant of Jesus." So in other words, if you want to be great, you don't win medals. How many of y'all are watching the Olympics? Man, those are great. You know, we're all watching that and saying, man, no body fat. Wow. You know, they don't have 6-packs, they have 12 packs or 18 packs, whatever beer they sell now. I mean, they've got all kinds of packs there. And you just look at that and you say, man, it's just like something that I can't attain to. But you know those gold medals, and we're proud of Michael Phelps as an American winning 28 medals, 23 of them gold. But you know what? The greatest is not him. The greatest is the most obscure servant that you might ever bump into. It's the one that's the slave of all. So when you go out to eat, are you greater? Jesus said, who's greater, the one that sits at the table or the one that serves the table? And they said, well, the one that's sitting at the table, he's greater. He said, no, I'm among you as one who serves. So when you go out to eat, that servant, that waitress or waiter is greater than you are. You better tip them well, too. Yes. As a Christian, don't be cheap tippers. Don't be cheap tippers. Treat them well. And if they're having a bad day, endure it. Don't ever treat them poorly, because then you're doing the same thing that a slave owner would do to their slave. You mistreat the servant when they're greater than you are. So how do we do that? How do we become a servant? Look at the last verse, though. I left it out, verse 45. He said, even me, even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. Let's pray again. Lord, this subject is so important as believers, as followers of yours, that we would be like you. And we always say that. We want to be like you. We want you to live your life through us. Maybe we're hindering